Hey guys, I'm back for another video and welcome to Hypixel SkyBlock, and today I'm bringing back a really old series on my channel, and that is changes that I want for the game. Suggestions for the devs. I actually made this list once already, and half of the items and features were already added, so I had to make a new list. So here are 50 things that I want added to Hypixel SkyBlock. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and some things that you might want added to the game. Let's go! First off, we got some Abaphone ones. So we just got Do Not Disturb, which used to be one of my items, but now I'm thinking it's time that we have a way to sort our contacts, maybe alphabetically, maybe by how frequently we call them, or maybe just a custom placement in the menu, because I'm kind of sick of having these random places for all my NPCs that I talk to. It'd be much nicer to sort them by how frequent I talk to them. I think that would be quite nice. Speaking of contacts, I think Sam should have a contact. And if you do, then you'd be able to redeem visitors remotely. I think that'd be quite cool, especially if you don't want to ruin your angle when farming. For example, if I were to slash warp garden and then just be, I don't know, doing this, and I don't want to mess up my angle, I'd just be able to call Sam and redeem all the visitors remotely. That would be quite nice. Oh yeah, and let's make it so that scheduled reboots don't just kick you in the middle of a farming contest. Like, especially, I mean, if it's for a game update, fair enough. But if it's a scheduled reboot, just wait until the contest is over so don't get kicked, because I've had times when I'm in a farming contest and on 3 separate lobbies I get kicked in one contest and I lose the medals I'm going for, which sucks. So yeah. Speaking of lobby resets and scheduled reboots, I had a similar problem when doing Enderman Slayers. So we do know about there's already a feature for this where if a lobby reboot starts to happen, it actually undoes your boss and brings you back to max kills. But here's the thing, especially in the End Island, they delay a lobby restarting depending on a dragon, right? Which is like a 5-minute process sometimes. Or they give you like literally 20 minutes to kill a dragon. So I think it would also be nice if there's an active Slayer boss in a lobby and a scheduled reboot happens, then it'll give you 5 minutes to finish the Slayers you've already started. So let's say you haven't started the Slayer yet, you're really close, the lobby reboot counter starts, then you're not going to be able to start a new fight. But if there is a fight currently going, instead of despawning the boss, just let you finish it. Here's a pretty nice one. Allow for bulk combining runes, please. I really don't want to have to do this one by one. Look at how slow this process is. I literally have thousands of runes. So like, just let me take 2 stacks, put them together, and just run this 64 times in one click. Otherwise, I'm just not going to use runes. It's going to take too long. Doing them 2 at a time, that takes like 15 seconds. And look at how many I have. This would take hours. Okay, I'm going to have to describe this one really well. So I have a problem with the wardrobe. This system was made before equipment, therefore equipment's not included in the wardrobe. Cringe. So here's what I think should happen. They should make it so that a wardrobe slot is 8 slots. It could, okay, you know what? Either 4 slots or 8 slots, or maybe for simplicity of coding, 8 slots. And there'd be a button here to switch to it. And then, I don't know, just no button here. And then just make it so there's more pages to compensate, right? So allow equipment in the wardrobe. That would be really nice. And while we're here in the wardrobe, I think we should make wardrobe shortcuts. So for example, speaking of equipment, my strengthened 3/4 molten with Rift is useful for multiple scenarios. Let's say I wanted to use it with Crimson Armor to kill ghosts quickly. Let's say I wanted 3/4 Terror with Warden Helmet to, I don't know, do Bestiary or Kudra. Whatever, right? Or maybe I'm doing dungeons and I want to have my Maxor Boots half Necron with Bonzo Mask for floor 7s. There are 3 different armor sets here where I want the same loadout. So I think it'd be really cool for not just armor, but also equipment, that you'd be able to make a, quote, shortcut. So let's say, again, Warden Helmet. Maybe I have 3/4 Crimson I want to use with Warden Helmet and 3/4 Terror with Warden Helmet. I don't want to have to buy 2 Warden Helmets. one for each piece of, or one for each wardrobe entry. So maybe there'd be an option to right click on it, and maybe it'd be like one of these dyes. Maybe it'd be a purple dye, maybe it'd be a green dye or something, and it would just be a shortcut to Warden helmet. So both entries in the wardrobe would have access to the Warden helmet. It would just be a nice QOL change. I think it would be, I don't know, those two changes would really bring the wardrobe together. Now, there's a third one I have that would also be quite nice. I think auto armor rules should be a thing. Just the exact same thing as auto pet rules, but instead of, you know, equipping a pet, equip an armor set. So let's say I start farming, right? I gain farming XP, which means I immediately switch to Fermento with my Lotus equipment. All in one go automatically. That would be awesome. Maybe let's say I spawn a Slayer boss, right? Immediately put me in my, I guess I would want to have Wither Goggles with 3/4 Storm, because most of the Slayers take magic damage. Well, not most, actually. Well, it depends, actually. I would have to probably change it. Let's say I spawn an Enderman Slayer boss. Put me in Final Destination. If I spawn a Rev, put me in, I don't remember if they take magic damage. If I kill a Sven, I don't know. If I spawn a Sven, then put me in my mage equipment. Here's one that's kind of nitpicky, but I still think it should be added. The Crystal Hollows, when you click on either of these warps and you don't have an active pass, it should open the menu to buy a pass right from the warp menu. Maybe to make it balanced and fair, you would have to have an Abby phone contact for, I don't know what this NPC is called, but maybe you'd be able to get her contact, and then it would allow you to just auto buy maybe when you enter Crystal Hollows. I don't know, something to that effect. I have a problem on my profile where I need 3 separate personal compactors because there's so many items that I just want automatically compacted, right? This is a lot of wasted redstone and, more importantly, talisman bag space. So I think it would be balanced to add an item somewhere in the bit shop that allows you to purchase more slots for the personal compactor. It would be quite nice to just have one personal compactor with a huge amount of items that I could just sort in that one device. That would be quite nice. Same with personal deleters as well. Be able to buy more slots per one talisman. This next one's pretty simple. It could be a talisman, it could not. I don't really care. Some item that you put either in your talisman bag or your inventory called the Essence Engine. It'd basically be a personal compactor that auto salvages dungeon armors and weapons put into it. It would work exactly like the personal compactor and deleter. You'd be able to click on it with, say, I don't know, a rotten helmet, and then automatically all rotten armor pieces that you get, unless it's auto recommed or has, like, you could probably set some like filters on it maybe if you want, like you keep all weapons that have scavenger 5 on it or something. I don't know. But yeah, you'd be able to click, let's say, heavy armor. I click on a piece of heavy armor, and then heavy armor pieces are automatically salvaged for essence while in the middle of your dungeon run. This would be really nice when paired with the dungeon sack, because that way your inventory stays freaking clean. Wouldn't that be nice? With all the other QOL additions added to dungeons, this one would only make sense because it would finally, like, now that you can do solo dungeons, now that you don't have to re-party, now that Spirit Pet's not as buggy, then it's just gonna make it so much nicer. Like, we need the least amount of friction possible to go into the catacombs, let's be honest. And this is another way to do it. Speaking of Spirit Pet, the bug technically still exists, even though it happens less often now. So, as a coder myself, as a plugin developer myself, I would suggest the ads add a previous pet metadata point for the Spirit Pet. So when you switch from some other pet to Spirit Pet, that the previous pet is saved somehow. So let's say you leave a dungeon or you get kicked from a dungeon, it automatically will swap back to the previous pet that you had out, which essentially would fix the Spirit Pet bug. Oh, and by the way, for those that are not aware, the bug basically is that Spirit Pet just stays equipped regardless of pet rules, even after you finished a run or like got kicked out of a run midway through. That's usually why it happens. It's very annoying because you end up just dying the next run because you're not using the right pet. This next one's quite simple, but I think that there should be some kind of setting somewhere. Maybe you talk to the gatekeeper, maybe you do it in the run or whatever, add auto token spend rules to Kudra. So like once you hit, for example, once you have enough to purchase an upgrade, for example, let's say I always want to be a tactician in my Kudra runs, right? So auto select tactician, automatically put all my Kudra points into this specific upgrade. Let's say it's, I don't know, the one that lets you fish up stuff faster. And then once that's maxed out, start putting points into ballista mechanic automatically. I just think it'd be a nice QOL feature, because chances are people are just going to be clicking the same upgrades every single Kudra run, and people like me just forego the upgrade system entirely because it's not worth it on a 3-minute Kudra run. So yeah, auto purchase rules would be really nice for Kudra tokens. So I've done a lot of nucleus runs in my day, and I've acquired a lot of useless items. For example, prehistoric eggs. I think these should have an NPC sell price, or maybe George should actually give you a decent amount of coins on armadillo pets. Like, I don't know, 5 mil for legendary, 1 mil for epic, 250k for rare, 100k for uncommon, something to that effect. I think we should have a reason to use all of these prehistoric eggs. Piconimbus as well. It'd be nice if there was just an NPC sale price, or maybe a way to craft a permanent Piconimbus with a bunch of them, a bingo nimbus. I don't know. Just add something to this game for Iron Man players, man. I got no purpose for all these. And then finally, I think that recall potions need a change. I think, considering how rare these are, I think you should be able to use them an infinite amount of times. I don't think that these should be a one-time use item. So I think so long as you're in the same lobby, you'd be able to teleport to the same location multiple times. So in theory, right, this would make it so recall potions would be really good, because you can say get 5 of them, right? Have 1 for each point of interest in the Crystal Hollows. And then you'd be able to do a nucleus run in like 30 seconds, because you'd be able to, you know, just use the recall potions for each spot. I don't consider it that overpowered, honestly, considering waypoints already exist and people can just make tunnels. And let's say you're doing a Ruby route and you want to go do something else and then come back. I don't know. Recall potions are just not useful at all. And I'd actually really like a way to just teleport back to the spots that I like. And then once you change lobbies, the metadata is wiped and it's just a base recall potion again. That's my suggestion overall. Oh my god, dude. This one freaking makes me mad. This is one that should have been changed years ago. The combat tag system's gotten a lot better since the actual delay is less, but it's still really freaking annoying. Like, I actually can't demonstrate it because these don't attack me. But like, if I were to, for example, if I were to do warp far, if I were to just, you can't fast travel while in combat. I one-tapped the mob and did how much damage? 23,000. And the same problem happens if you get smacked by a mob and take like 1 damage out of 4,000 health. So I propose that you only get combat tagged if you did not one-tap the thing you just hit. So if you hit it and it's still alive, sure, that's a combat tag. If you instant killed a mob, you're not in combat anymore because it's dead. So you should not get combat tagged for insta-killing a mob, one-tapping it. You also should not get combat tagged if you took damage recently that's less than 5% of your maximum health. So if I do get smacked by a mob, there we go. I took 9 damage. I should not get combat tagged for that. And it's not that awful with warps, but it's more awful when you account for fire aspect, venomous, that sort of thing. Because let's say you shoot at a dragon, then you're just doomed to never change your equipment until the fight's over, basically. Like, it's really annoying. You can't open the wardrobe, you can't swap your pets, because you keep getting combat tagged by just attacking something that's not going to hit you back, and it's not going to hit you back for a lot of damage. So seriously, like, why does fire aspect, venomous, ferocity even proc a combat tag? It shouldn't. It should be the first hit. I don't know. It's very annoying. This is a really simple one. I think all the dungeon related contacts should be available while in a dungeon. Like, you can't call Trinity while in a dungeon. That doesn't make sense. Like, yes, there's no signal with other contacts, that's fine, but I think dungeon-related contacts should be contactable while in the dungeon, especially Ophelia, so we could buy arrows mid-dungeon run, please. Actually, that would make a lot of sense considering how expensive the Ophelia contact is, and it's currently useless. So, seriously, make Ophelia callable while in dungeons. Here's another one I've been saying for freaking years. Pets that give a minion speed up bonus. For example, I don't know, Snail Pet. Snail Pet makes, what is it? Red sand minions faster. The way that this currently works is that you only get the speed boost while you're currently online. This sucks because you have to AFK pretty much 24/7, which is going to kill your god potion, and it's going to artificially inflate your playtime hours, and it's going to put strain on the server, and it's just not good. So here's what I propose. Log out of SkyBlock, wait, I don't know, let's say you wait a month. Let's say you log back in, you go to your private island. Oh wow, I just joined my private island while the Snail Pet's equipped. Guess what? All the minions have that 30% extra speed accounted for in their calculation. Doesn't that make sense? Because I know how this thing works. The minions aren't literally working for you 24/7. If your island's unloaded, the island's unloaded. The minions are doing nothing. All of that minion action, all the new items are spawned in the instant you log in. So why not, in that calculation, account for whatever pet the player has when they log on? And I guess with co-ops, whichever player logs on and loads the island first is the one that counts this pet bonus. I don't know, it just seems really obvious to me. Why is this not a thing? Literally every single pet in the game that has a minion speed boost is basically useless unless you're AFK, which is bad for the server. So just use it in the calculation. Here's another pet peeve of mine. On an Iron Man profile, when you do a lot of Slayers, you end up with a lot of useless drops. For example, I have literally a row and 4 Cortex Rewriters. I have 7 Sinful Dice, 5 Ether Warp Mergers, 5 Pocket Espressos, 3 Blood Chalices. It's like that Christmas song, whatever. And all the Transmission Tuners, Man of Steel 3s. This also applies for, let's see, where is it? Tarantula Pets, Arachne Fangs, Arachne Fragments, Digestive Mosquitoes. There's so many Slayer drops that you're gonna get repeats of over, like, Hazmat Endermans. I've just been freaking chucking those. You should be able to salvage them for their appropriate essence type. So Transmission Tuners, you should be able to salvage them for some Dragon Essence. Same goes for all of these items, honestly. Why not? Except for Smarty Pants, I guess. And when it comes to the spider drops, Digestive Mosquito, Arachne Fangs, Tarantula Pets, they should all be salvageable for Spider Essence. And I guess with the Sven drops, that doesn't apply. But I do have a stupid amount of excess Sven drops. I mean, look at all these travel scrolls to the Howling Cave. Travel scrolls to the Dragon's Nest. Like, all the travel scrolls. Weak Wolf Catalysts. There needs to be purposes for these items. Maybe just have a high NPC sell price for the travel scrolls, or for Red Claw Eggs, Grizzly Bait. There's so many random items, even talismans too. I think we need to have a George, but specifically for talismans as well. Look at all these wolf talismans, bat person talismans, fish affinity, tarantula. Like, there needs to be a purpose. Maybe the moat scrubber, right? That actually is a really good idea. I take that back. Let's just make all of these rift transferable, do nothing, and the only thing you can really do is redeem them for moats. I would love that, and finally give a purpose for all this crap, and it mean less moat grinding for me. So yeah, there you go. All the items you currently see in my chests, baits. I don't know. Oh, and also add Twilight Arrow Poison and Toxic Arrow Poison to sacks, please and thank you. Add a purpose to Lump of Magma, please and thank you. Refined Mineral, maybe an NPC sell price. Pretty much every item that's in these chests are items that I just don't have a place for them. Jungle Hearts, there's no... These are bugged, don't worry about those. Jerry Sheen Guns, Jerry Stones, Spooky Cupcakes. There's just no purpose in the game for all of these. These do have a purpose, which is nice, I guess. Pretty much every item in this chest. Add the Soul Essel Warden, Gloomlock Grimoire, Fire Freeze Staff. Well, Fire Freeze Staff, I think, has an entry. Add these to the museum. AOTJ, add that to museum. There's various items here that just The dark goggles, shadow goggles, sniper helmet. They should all have museum entries. Maybe the sheep axe, the cow axe, super cleaver, the scythes. I don't know. Let's see. What else we got? Ghoul pets. This is going to be such a long video. Oh my god. But yeah, there you go. Moat scrubber. Oh, also the combat XP boost, or all the XP boost potions would actually be really nice to be able to moat scrub them as well. That'd be good. I don't even know if that's how you say it. This is a small one, but I think for the progression of the game, it would be a lot nicer looking for new players if all the sacks had grayed out icons if you haven't dropped the item yet. This is a really small detail, but like, I don't know, it just look a lot nicer, especially with things like the nether sack. Like, you'd be like, what the hell is spell powder, rekindled ember fragments? Just have it all be grayed out until you get one. Once you get one, then show the actual item. But for now, it should be like, I don't know, the green dye or gray dye icon. That would look a lot cleaner, I think. And it'd be like a sense of progression in a way, if you think about it. Oh, speaking of items that take up space, yeah, please add these items to the sacks. I'm going to list a bunch of them. Summoning Eyes, Remnants, Kuja Keys, Fermento, Blasto Lanterns, Training Weights, Diffuse Kits, Arachne's Calling, Arachne's Fragments, Soul String, Dark Queen's Soul, Golden Tooth, Revenant Viscera, Tarantula Silk, Nolo Voids, Amalgamated Crimsonite, Toxic Arrow Poison, Twilight Arrow Poison, Great White Shark Tooth, Matchsticks, Refined Mineral, Ancient Claws, Griffin Feathers. Thank you. Here's one that I think is going to be really helpful for the network as a whole. I was nicked just chilling in a Crystal Hollows lobby, and two guys were talking, and one of them was like, oh yeah, if I have a rock on my spacebar, that doesn't count as macroing because I didn't install software. Untrue. That is still macroing. So clearly there is a misunderstanding in the community that people think macros are just software. That is untrue. So there's a lot of people getting banned right now, and they say they got false banned because they didn't understand the rules. Now, I'm not going to expect your typical player to log into the network and be like, oh, let me read all the rules first. Like, they're just not going to do that. So I think what we should do is give a one-time check, right? A one-time warning. And it would be something to the effect of, hey, you've been quite robotic lately. I've noticed that you haven't moved your mouse in quite a while and you're continuously pressing the same buttons. Just letting you know that sort of thing is not allowed and you will get banned if you continue to have especially robotic behavior. Some warning like that would be pretty nice. I think a lot of the young people in the audience, especially young people on the server, are not going to understand the concept of macroing. They're not going to understand the concept of cheating, and they're going to be the ones that go on the forums and cry about getting false banned because they didn't know what they're doing. So I think we need a warning for robotic behavior that happens at least once per profile, just to be like, hey, like, you know, maybe put a map in their face or just, like, get them to stop and just let them know, hey, this, what you're doing is not necessarily against rules, because you can't, like, know for sure, but just give them a warning. It's like, hey, you've been looking especially robotic. Don't macro, basically. Check the rules. Right now, 3/4 Fermento with Rancher Boots is the loadout for the best farming in the game. I think it should be full Fermento. So I think the admins need to just add Rancher Boots to the recipe for Fermento Boots, and then just have Fermento Boots inherit the ability of Rancher Boots, where you get the farming fortune from speed and being able to set your maximum speed. You should just have full Fermento for farming, let's be honest. Right now, Fermento Boots are just a useless item I have in a chest. Oh, this one's really annoying. In the RNG meter, if you guys don't know, there's currently a system where, let's say you drop the thing that you wanted, it deselects your RNG meter, which makes sense for something that's super rare, like, say, an Ender Artifact Upgrader or a Judgment Core. But what happens if you're doing Sven Slayer and you have, I don't know, 640,000 stored XP and you don't want any of the drops except for hamster wheels? Well, the problem with that is you set RNG meter to hamster wheel, you get it within like 2 bosses, and then it deselects and you have to reselect it, which is a bunch of clicking. So I think that what it should do is there should be an option somewhere in the RNG meter to have a toggle for auto re-enabling the RNG meter. So like, for example, I'll go into the menu here. There should be a button somewhere that's like, yeah, so see how there's a reset RNG drop? There should be a button next to it saying auto reselect RNG drops. That would be quite nice, because as of now, I'm just sitting on so much RNG meter for Sven that I can't take advantage of it because I can't be bothered to click like 17 times between Slayers when they're 30 seconds a boss. Same with Foul Flesh and Rev Slayers, by the way. This is a common problem with any form of gemstone mining, really. Even with triple pocket sack in a sack, whatever, you have to click like 1,700 times. Now, I didn't have to click much because I didn't have it, but imagine a full gemstone sack. I'm going to be there for 2 minutes clicking, literally 2 minutes to click. So there should be a command called like compact all items in sack, or for short, /CAIIS, and then select, I don't know, ruby. And then you do that and it will auto compact all rubies to fine, I guess. Or maybe you would maybe you would say what the item is that you want to craft it into. So instead of ruby, it would be fine ruby. And then all the rubies you have in your sacks would automatically be compacted to fine. And obviously this command should only work if you have that item in an active personal compactor, obviously. But just as a time-saving measure, because it's just so annoying having to click for 2 minutes straight to compact my gemstones.